people see Messi as a talent. I don't think a lot of people see Messi as a hard work man, which he had to work so hard through his childhood. He had to leave his home when he was 13. Because like I said, a lot of people see him this star footballer that came from Argentina, and no, he had a really tough life. His family went back to Argentina, so he was with his dad in Barcelona for a very long time, missing. It never was easy. All his growth problems and everything.
Messi was given a gift from God to play football, but you know, you can't get anywhere without hard work. And what Messi did as a youngster, as a young teenager, to overcome, you know, these handicaps was, you know, you have to give it to him.
I knew he was good when he was training with us at Barcelona, but back then he was really good, but not the way he's been the last years. It was just amazing to see the close control, the speed, scoring at will sometimes, you think. Whenever he wants to score, he's just like, he turns on a button and he goes and nobody can follow him. I never thought that he would become this great, but that he had talent and obviously he had the will, the inner will that comes from the heart that wants you to go on. He obviously had that, otherwise he would never reach the levels that he is at the moment.
Diciamo che Messi ti fa 10 scatti in 10 minuti e lì ti stronca, perché lui magari ti giri e ancora sta iniziando a sudare, tu sei cotto come, e poi te ne fa un altro, è quello, poi sempre porta palla.
When we talk about Messi, in my opinion, Messi is the best player in the world. His talents, his moving, his skills is extraordinary, and then he is able to score goals. He is a real leader, and also outside of the field, he is a gentleman. He's a nice, charming boy. You have to like him. Yeah? He's the best player, and his character is perfect. So he is a perfect player and a perfect person.
Tranquilo, muy tranquilo, realmente un chico espectacular, muy compañero, la verdad que un chico muy bueno y tranquilo como puede ser cualquiera.
In an era of probably unrivaled athleticism as far as the history of football is concerned, Lionel Messi, low centre of gravity, fantastic with the ball at his feet, incredibly fast, and obviously that mindset of getting past a player, looking for an opportunity for a pass, and always calm in front of goal. You wouldn't necessarily expect that for a player like that to succeed in the modern game, but perhaps that's what makes him so successful, is he offers that something a little bit different.
Messi, along with Xavi and Iniesta, was the epitome of that style. They moved the ball too quick, they moved the ball too often, and they ran into spaces too quickly for anybody to keep up with them. So, whereas once upon a time, not so long ago, it would have been seen as a big advantage to be able to bully your opponents physically. Well, what Spain did on an international level with Xavi and Iniesta, but moreover what Barcelona did on a club level with Messi right at the forefront, was redefined what people thought a successful footballer needed to look like. You know, he was small, he was light, but he still managed to be the best in the world. That's because his movement was so clever, and that's because of the way he played the game.
I think it's all down to quality, really. If you look at Xavi, look at Iniesta, look at Messi, they're not the biggest players. It's just a question of adapting and knowing what you're supposed to do. I mean, it's depending on the quality that you have, because if you know how to avoid the situations where the other players can have a benefit of the size, then it's no problem.
A favor con él es increíble realmente. Verlo cada entrenamiento, hacer lo que hace es realmente un placer. He tenido la suerte y para mí es un verdadero orgullo haber podido compartir con él un entrenamiento, un partido. La verdad que me siento un privilegiado porque, como dije anteriormente en otra pregunta, estamos hablando de uno de los mejores jugadores de la historia del fútbol.
Unassuming as they come, for my money, Lionel Messi, but obviously his talent on the field speaks for itself. Probably a marketing man's dream, but he seems like an incredibly nice guy. But obviously what it comes down to is, do you want a piece of the best footballer on the planet? Well, of course you do.
Well, people want to be associated with greatness, and that's what Lionel Messi is. You're talking about a guy who won 4 Ballon d'Ors running here. So obviously he's been picked by his peers and by journalists as the best player in the world 4 times. Combined with that, he's won the Champions League, he's won numerous titles in Spain. And football's main currency is goals. And who scores most of them? Lionel Messi. Who wouldn't be associated with that?
Perhaps the one chink in Messi's armour or accusation that you could throw at him is the fact that he's only done it really for Barcelona. One league, one club. He's excelled really under only a couple of managers. And you do wonder how he would perform in the Premier League or the Bundesliga or in a different environment where perhaps things aren't set up for him specifically.
Well, for Barcelona, by the time his career ends, Lionel Messi will be regarded as the greatest player of all time that ever played at Camp Nou. He'll have scored more goals and led them to more trophies than anybody else. And we can only hope that he's about halfway through his career, as his age would suggest.
Ultimately, the World Cup was a disappointment for Messi because he didn't win it. And before the World Cup, we all arrived saying this is his chance to emulate Maradona, and he couldn't quite do it.
Obviously the comparisons with Diego Maradona are always going to be there. Maradona managed to win the World Cup in '86 with a modest team around him which were playing for him. Messi in 2014, well, he didn't manage just that.
Messi is one of the greatest of all time, but I don't think you can put him right up there with Maradona and Pelé when he didn't score a single goal in the knockout stages and he was very, very disappointing in the final.
Quite simply, as one of the world's greatest ever players, can he be considered the best? Probably not until he wins a World Cup by his own admission, but obviously, domestically, there are few to rival him.